So Samsung just made two changes that finally justify calling the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. One of them might even make it more capable than the S26 Ultra in one important area. And while everyone was looking at Samsung's latest official Fold 8 poster, the company quietly revealed something else about the Fold 8 Ultra that almost nobody's talking about. Let's get into it. So we already knew Samsung was upgrading the ultra-wide camera to 50 megapixels, while leaving the rest of the camera hardware largely unchanged. But according to the latest information from a reliable leaker, Samsung isn't just bringing over the S26 Ultra's hardware, it's also bringing over some of its biggest camera improvements. Samsung recently widened the aperture on two of the S26 Ultra's cameras. Since the Fold 8 Ultra doesn't include the 5x periscope, that effectively confirms the 200 megapixel main camera is getting the wider aperture compared to the Fold 7. That means the sensor can pull in around 47% more light, resulting in cleaner low-light photos, less noise, and more natural background blur. But the hardware isn't the only upgrade. Samsung is also bringing over the new APV codec from the S26 Ultra. That means visually lossless video recording with features like multi-frame night processing, real-time LUT previews, object-aware noise reduction, and on-device video enhancement. It also preserves image quality while using around 10% less storage. What's important here is that none of these upgrades are expected to come to the regular Fold 8, which sticks with the dual 50 megapixel camera setup. And for the first time, Samsung is giving people an actual reason to choose the Ultra beyond just the name. Now here's the interesting part. That camera upgrade isn't happening on its own. It's actually being backed by another change under the hood. Samsung and Qualcomm have already confirmed that both foldables will be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. But according to the latest information, Samsung is preparing a second-tuned version of that chip specifically for the Fold 8 series. Now, before anyone gets too excited, don't expect a huge jump in raw performance. The difference isn't in the CPU or GPU, it's the NPU. According to the latest report, the Fold 8 Ultra's NPU will be slightly more capable than the one inside the S26 Ultra. Now, in day-to-day use, you're probably not going to notice some dramatic difference. But because the NPU handles camera processing, and many of Galaxy AI's features all rely on it, so even a small improvement here means the Fold 8 Ultra could process those tasks just a little quicker than the S26 Ultra. Ironically, Samsung's most advanced AI phone this year might not be the S26 Ultra. It could actually be the Fold 8 Ultra. But that wasn't the only interesting thing. Samsung also released another official Fold 8 poster as part of its Spider-Man brand New Day promotion. And once again, the entire spotlight is on the wider Fold 8. We've now seen the launch invitation, multiple official teasers, and now even the Spider-Man campaign, all centered around that wider model. But while everyone was looking at the wider Fold 8, Samsung quietly released the first official renders of the Fold 8 Ultra as well. The first thing the renders reveal is actually a contradiction. Months ago, Ice Universe claimed Samsung was shrinking the cover display camera cutout without changing the camera itself. But the official renders tell a different story. At first glance, the cover display punch hole looks almost identical to the Fold 7. But here's the interesting part. The inner display cutout is noticeably smaller, suggesting the reduction wasn't made to the cover display at all. And honestly, that's probably the more meaningful upgrade. Samsung already moved away from the under-display camera in favor of a regular punch hole sensor to improve image quality. Making that punch hole smaller is exactly the kind of refinement this phone needed. The second thing I noticed is on the back of the phone. The camera bump immediately looks thicker than the one on the Fold 7. Now, part of that isn't surprising. A wider aperture on the main camera requires a little more physical space. But I don't think that's the whole story. Last year's Fold 7 used a dual-finish camera island that visually made the bump look slimmer. This year, Samsung appears to be using a single finish across the entire camera housing, making it look noticeably chunkier. Unfortunately, that also means two familiar complaints are probably sticking around. The phone is still likely to wobble on a table, And the camera housing still sits extremely close to where Qi 2 magnetic accessories need clean space. We've already heard Samsung is redesigning the S27 Ultra's camera layout to improve that situation. But Fold users may have to wait another generation. And the third thing the renders reveal is much more subtle. Dimensionally, the Fold 8 Ultra is almost identical to the Fold 7. But look closely around the hinge. It appears noticeably tighter and more compressed than before. Now we already know Samsung redesigned the hinge this year to dramatically reduce the crease, reportedly getting very close to Oppo's Find N6. So these renders could actually be our first visual confirmation of that internal redesign. However, this redesigned hinge may make those in-between flex mode angles harder to hold compared to previous generations. And despite all of those hinge improvements, Samsung still appears to be sticking with the same IP48 rating. So while the crease is finally getting much better, Samsung still trails Google's foldables when it comes to full dust protection. The last thing the official renders quietly reveal isn't really about hardware. It's about how Samsung wants people to see these two phones. Shadow Violet is the interesting one. Instead of using the brighter violet we recently saw on the S26 Ultra, Samsung is going with a much darker shade. The regular Fold 8 tells a completely different story. Its hero color is brighter and much more playful, while the Ultra gets the darker, more premium treatment. The missing green color also tells us something, since it doesn't appear anywhere in Samsung's official renders. It's very likely staying as an online exclusive option. I think Samsung has finally made a couple of genuine Ultra moves this year. Because yes, the Fold 8 Ultra is expected to cost another $100 more than the Fold 7. But that extra $100 is only the beginning. Click here to see what Samsung quietly changed behind the scenes. This is Techtics, and I'll see you there.